Welcome to another episode of Real Agency. Today I'm with one of my partners in Real Agency, Ross, who you joined in July 25.
July the 1st, 25,
Yeah,
yeah.
so do you want to introduce where you are,
Sure.
where you're trading, and how the first couple of months have been going?
Yeah, sure. So I'm based, classed as the Horsham district.
Yep.
So really from Horsham down to Shoreham, and the market towns and the villages in between
Yeah.
there. So I'm 8 weeks in currently. Yeah, and it's going good.
And you're still smiling.
I'm still
You're,
smiling. You've
yeah.
got to keep smiling.
And well, we've been going through a few things today, and I think, you know, I think you've had a very fast start. I think
Thank
you've
you.
got lovely liftings on the market. You're building your pipeline. You've got a strategy on your lead generation, so I think you should be patting yourself on the back.
Thank you.
I know it's hard because the money takes a while to come in,
Yeah.
doesn't it? So you probably don't
Yeah.
feel the success, but you will do in the months to come.
It's I suppose like it sounds like a cliche, but it has been a roller coaster. When you're up, and when you're down, you're down. And last week I had my first, so I had got a chain of two, had two fall throughs, and
Yeah,
it's devastating because there's so much more on it when it's your own. But then there's almost that part of it is like, don't stew in it. Like, what have I got to do to get them back under offer? So it's you're either up here or you're down here, and it's very much like
I
that.
think that's the story of agency, isn't it?
Yeah,
And I think it does feel a lot worse when it's all you're really
yeah,
I know you're gonna have to share some of the income out, but it's a lot different when it's all yours, isn't it? I remember when I first started, my first year, I had my biggest, for that first 12 months, I had a big sale. It was about 16 grand commission. It was massive. I'm thinking at that time, that's like three launch
yeah.
outgoings, or like, for the business. And, and the lady phoned me up in the early December and sounded happy on the phone and then withdrew her offer and pulled out the purchase. And what had happened was her husband was a director of a company, and the directors meeting, they all agreed to take a larger lump sum out of the
Okay,
business so she could afford a bigger house.
fine.
So she was like, "It's great, just want to buy the other one down the road, which is £500,000 more." And I'm like, so she was all excited, and I'm
You're
like, "Oh
devastated.
my goodness, this is ruined my Christmas!" Like, and
Yeah.
but they don't get, and they don't get an easy to take. When you have those series of fall throughs, it's horrible. So you mentioned about ups and downs. What strategies do you use? Like for other people like are thinking of making this leap or have already made this leap and not experienced this yet, the shout
Sure.
signs. What strategies do you use to get yourself out out of feeling
Yeah.
like down in the dumps?
So
Like yourself.
what I tried to do was act on it straight away rather than sit and wait and play it out in my head for as long as I can.
Yeah.
I took the call of the evening, I think Thursday evening, and by the kind of 45 minutes after I'd spoken to both vendors in the chain above and explained to them, one, what had happened, and two, more importantly, what I was going to do next.
Yeah.
So very quickly, my plan of action was working out how long have we been under offer for. So we were about 5.5 weeks.
Right.
So my thought process was, can I bide both of you another week and a half, 2 weeks to be able to relist on Rightmove to give you that exposure again as a relaunch?
Yeah.
Yes, we'll be waiting the best part of 2 weeks to do it, but I promise you it'll be better for us to hold off and wait
Yeah.
than just putting you back on now like anybody else would do
Yeah.
and cross your fingers and hope that it goes.
Yeah.
And being positive with it, both of the sales were agreed within the first couple of weeks of me launching, and I felt there was a difficult market, whereas it's still challenging. But I feel like if I got you under offer in July, I can get you under offer in September,
Yeah. Yeah.
and giving that confidence to the clients, always telling them the risks involved in what we're doing,
Yeah.
but at the same time just being genuine and being positive with it. And yes, it's a horrible call to make, but I've learned over the last 12 years or so that the longer you sit and think about it, the harder it gets.
I think that very sort of cool, you know, longer you pull it off and you build it up, it gets worse in your
Yeah,
head, doesn't it?
yeah,
It becomes a bit, and it's never as bad. The climb
correct.
up there.
And
Things happen, Ross.
yeah,
Yeah.
the one that I thought would take it really badly took it really, really well. And the one that I thought that would take it really well took it really badly.
Yeah.
And it's just then trying to adjust it to, yeah,
And it's a stressful time moving, and sometimes we do get the brunt of it, don't we, as agents? And then you end up getting a client feedback. So I didn't mean to react like
yeah,
that. It just means a lot, and it's a big thing for them. So which we understand. But I think having a plan, we've spoken a lot about that today,
Yeah,
about having a strategy. So going into those calls and having a plan
yeah,
is key, isn't it?
definitely.
It is.
I really struggle with, I can't just wing it.
No.
So I have to, in my mind, be comfortable with what I'm doing to then give that confidence to my clients. And that's how I've been with this career and the career that I was in before that. If I don't feel comfortable with it, I feel like my face shows it, my body language shows it, and people can read that really easily. Whereas I have to think, right, am I happy with this? Yes, I am. Great. Now I'm going to give my clients that confidence. I know what I'm talking about.
So we know that you're a self-employed agent,
Yeah.
and we'll come to your goals on that shortly. But let's go back to the future. What you mentioned a previous career, so let's talk about
Yeah.
how you got to here.
So here,
Start.
yeah. So I left school. I took an apprenticeship with BT,
Yeah.
which I had no idea why I was doing it. My sister had gone through uni for a marketing degree, come out of uni, couldn't get a job because she had no experience. So when I was leaving school, I thought, right, I need to get experience in somewhere to be able to get a job.
Yeah.
And that led me into an apprenticeship. I went with BT in an telecoms engineering. It was really boring and dull. And within the first kind of 6 weeks, like every lunch break was the same, every tea break was the same. I was surrounded by grumpy old men that just didn't want to be there. And I thought, can I do this for the next 50 years? No. So as a 16-year-old, I thought, right, what could I do that is a bit more fun? And I decided on a career in hairdressing, which was really different. And I went through my training, my qualifications, and become a qualified hairdresser with the view of launching my own salon as a franchise. That was the plan. Got really close to opening a franchise, and my business partner to be withdrew about 6 weeks out of us signing on what we were going to do. And at that point, it was I can't do this on my own. I haven't got the finances to do it. I haven't got the love to do it anymore. And I felt to myself, like, what career can I do that don't necessarily need the qualifications in, that you can earn relatively good money in, that still feels a little bit glamorous?
So what age was you then?
I was 22. Yeah, 22. When I say that, I was 22 when I left hairdressing. I applied at so many different agencies. I couldn't even get an interview.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't, for love or money, I couldn't get an interview from my CV. And I don't know if there was just like an old school stereotype of a hairdresser and how it doesn't fit a natural mold. But
What year would
that was 2011, 2012. Yeah, 2011. And then, so my friend, really close friend, he said to me, why don't you come and work for a little bit with me? So it was selling commercial catering equipment. So it was business to business sales, and there was no sales skill in it at all. But there was more sales in the hairdressing background, relationship building, trust, advice, upselling. There's so much more transferable skills in the hairdressing than there was in the sales role. I used the sales role for 3 months, put it on my CV, and I don't know what it was, but as soon as I then put my CV in, I got interviews, and from there, then the career began. And yeah, it's just snowballed on from there.
I wonder if it was a timing thing, like when you said the year 2011, 2012 was coming out of that credit crunch.
Yeah.
Maybe there was many roles about, and then it started to.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. It might have been that. I don't know.
So I took a job in Purley, which was about 40 minutes from where I was living, just because it was I said I wanted to do it, and it was the first job that became available to do. So I jumped at doing that, and it was right at the time when the market turned, just by luck. So like first week, sold 2 houses. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it happened, and went from there. And about 6 weeks in, I took a call from one of the recruitment agents that I was dealing with. They said, "Oh, great, we've got an available job in Horsham." I said, "Oh no, don't worry, I found somewhere." And they said, "No, but it's in Horsham." I was like, "No, but I found somewhere." And they said, "Just hear me out." And I went to the office, and it had such a buzz about it. It felt right. And that was a really good platform for me for the next couple of years to really learn the trade, understand it, develop my skills, to then be able to allow me to grow further.
And so, those early years, the typical neg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, viewings, feedback.
Yeah.
Started dealing with offers.
Yeah, exactly that. Your kind of stereotypical independent agency that was run more corporate. So learning how to book viewings, cross the viewings over, close for offers.
Yeah.
Then you have the other side of it of financial services and referrals and all of those
So it
parts.
was a large independent.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
good place to learn. Yeah.
definitely a really, really good training background and allowed me to learn the job in a really nice atmosphere. Like the team were, it was a team, but you all still had your own individual responsibilities and there was friendly competition. It was one of the most enjoyable parts as I was learning. And at 23, 24, it was, yeah, it was good fun.
So you think, yeah, maybe if you'd have gone into a different environment, you might not have loved it as much.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
look back and think that about my
And
career.
the manager, the branch manager, just a brilliant guy, very, very charismatic, but a leader. So he would be the first one in, last one out, constantly working. It would never be kind of do as I say. It was almost do as I do.
Yeah.
And he led and learnt a lot from him. He was brilliant.
It's really
And it
cool.
got to the stage where as you're developing and you're doing more and more, and you then want to do more, well, he's never moving. Like he's happy where he is. He's comfortable where he is. Like you're not going to do the valuations, and if you are, you're not going to meet the clients that are moving. So you almost then have to go to another office to then be able to grow further.
Okay.
And then I took the decision to then kind of step away from that side to be able to grow again and
Yeah.
then go again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, now you go out on your own, and
Yeah.
you're looking forward to maybe building a team in the future. Do you think?
Yeah, I think that's so long term.
Yeah.
That would be something that I'm certainly focused on. Short term is getting my business right and being dependable for my clients first of all. But then as I grow, how I vision myself growing is by inspiring others around me to give them the support that I would want as a self-employed agent. And rather than having a team of employees, I'd rather have a team of different business partners where we're all on the same vision
Yeah.
and we can support each other.
Yeah. I think it's great to give back. It's great to share ideas.
Yeah.
I think the brokerage way of going away from the more traditional agency, it's enabling that to happen even more, isn't it? I think if everyone's on the same playing field and you're all sharing, and whether that means is you're working together under one team or one brand, or working under the same bigger brokerages and doing
Yeah.
the same thing. There's lots of ways it can work.
Yeah, I suppose I kind of almost fell out of love with that traditional setup.
Yeah.
And I lost a bit of the appetite for the job that I love doing. Like
Yeah.
I've genuinely, it's cheesy, but I like helping people move. And
Yeah.
in terms of that, I like doing the viewings. I like negging the offers. I like doing it all. Yeah, rather than sitting behind, feeling like you have to sit behind a desk and allow other people to do it.
Yeah.
There is that element that I do enjoy, but I also miss the part of being on the front line. And this enables me to be on the front line and do what I feel like I'm good at.
Yeah, and it's the age old, like the best valuer and ended up being an office manager,
Yeah.
area manager, and they're not doing what they were great at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm not a good manager.
But I've had one doing Saturday all day on Saturday, and I loved it. And it's not often I'm doing that anymore,
Yeah.
but I absolutely loved it, and and it made me realise that I don't want to ever take it all away.
Yeah.
I still want to have so many clients, and because I looked at that, I got back, I don't structure my diary quite, organised, so I don't often do a full day viewings on Saturdays, but I did this Saturday, just
Yeah.
to work out that way. And I did pull chassis because you're speaking to people, aren't you, and talking, and it took me back to the old days when I used to be rushing around like eight till 5 or 6 or something like that.
You get to the end of the day and you just feel like you need 10 minutes in a dark room on your own just to decompress. But
It's like, why do you sleep at 9 o'clock?
yeah, just
Been
knackered.
talking all day.
But I, like, over these kind of first 8 weeks, doing the viewings again is something that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And like when you go back to it, you realise that you do miss it. And it's
And I think that'll come through. If you enjoy doing something, you're happy, aren't you? So you're enjoying doing it. So you're going to be more real, more authentic with the buy.
Yeah.
Be more helpful. And I think I spoke to another agent yesterday, and I said, like, if I came and did viewings in your town, would I be better than you? And he was, I mean, and I was like, you need to know that you're the
you're the
best.
best.
You'll follow up from sort of, you're going to ask them about the schools, if they've got children,
Yeah.
know about the schools, go and see the cafe, go and see the
Yeah.
hairdresser,
Yeah.
go and see Ross, who runs the salon down the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
stuff because that's I have clients phone me up from 15 years ago who remember how I've showed them houses. So I think we've just been listening to a Zoom call webinar
Yep.
now, haven't we? Just and I think a lot of the time it's the basics, doing the basics well is the
Correct.
key, isn't it? And I think big corporate agencies or traditional high street, well, sometimes you've not got the people who really care
That's
doing the viewings. Whereas if you go out on your own and you're doing that, they're going to buy into you, aren't they?
That's exactly it. And I think in terms of the people doing, like, you want the people at the front of the business that care about the business. So every viewing for me, you're looking at your clients thinking, like, in 3 or 4 years' time, whether you buy this house or you buy somebody else's house, you want to be the one that they remember and go, I would love Ross to sell my house when it comes to it, because how he dealt with me as a person. Yes, you're still looking after your clients that you're selling, but you're still giving a great service to your buyers as well. And it's finding that kind of blend. And I feel like sometimes when you've got different people, they might not care. So they could be on their phone, they could just be showing people around, or not even showing people around, opening the door and letting them walk around. And it's terrible. And you just think it's still it's your reputation at the end of the line, and you're the one who the clients trusted. If you're then allowing somebody else to go and take that for granted, for me, it doesn't sit comfortable with me.
No, I suppose things changed, don't they? Yeah, that the old way was scaling and you have more team employed,
Yeah,
and actually that means the viewings are going to be spread around across different people, and you might turn up to a house that you've never been to before.
yeah,
I remember had a negotiator work for me many years ago before I'd gone out on my own actually. And the buyer phoned up and said, "Are you sure I saw the house?" And he hadn't shown some of the house.
fine.
He thought the door was a cupboard, and he
Wow.
went through to two other reception rooms,
Yeah,
and they hadn't seen. Yeah,
they didn't
he'd
buy
never been to the house. Not
it.
really his fault, but
Yeah,
he was like, he
yeah,
just took a genuine
yeah,
mistake. It was a cottage. He didn't realise that
yeah.
went elsewhere, and he thought he'd showed the whole house and left two rooms out.
Right.
So but I think it's important, to anyone listening to this, and if you're struggling as an agent, as a partner, I think if you look at how you do viewings,
Yeah,
the pre-viewing, like before the viewing, during the viewing, I try to get ask them if it's okay if I set up a WhatsApp with them
yeah,
on the viewing, because it's easy to communicate afterwards to get feedback promptly and ask them for feedback. And then once they've got your details, once they're in they've saved your number, you can communicate via WhatsApp broadcasts, keep them updated. And I think that looking after buyers. I know Alex, who's your sponsor in it,
yeah,
he talked heavily about when he went live 2 years ago as looking after the buyer. Then he
yeah.
buyer registered. Well, I'm going to be the best
No,
agent to communicate, and that's the basics,
it's a
isn't it?
massive part of it.
Yeah,
And I think on looking after them, like, they will remember it. They'll definitely remember it. And if they remember you, they're going to answer your phone when you call them on those agreed follow-up dates. They're going to think, oh, that's Ross, that's Adam, that's Alex. I'll speak to him, rather than, oh, they're chasing me again. And I think on the viewings where some people go wrong is they're either scared to ask what people think about it. And you don't have to be as direct to say, are you going to buy it?
no,
But just a really soft, could you see yourself living here? Actually, yes, I could. Or no, okay, for what reason? Like, you're having a conversation. Whereas I think some people just show them around and go, okay, great, I'll call you in a couple of days. Or even worse, just say, okay, see you later.
yeah,
You come back and say, well, how did the viewing go? They go, I was okay. And you're like, okay, so what's next? Like, oh, I'll call them tomorrow for morning. It's like, no. And it wasn't until
opportunity, wasn't it?
yeah,
Meet that buyer was an opportunity. And, I was on a podcast recently with an American agent, and they have buyer representations.
yes,
And I think that, and she was saying to me, is that the reason why agents have got such a bad name in the UK? Because the buyers aren't represented
yeah,
very well in most cases, and then they're gonna hate the agent because they feel like they're not really being cared for, looked after, any sort of customer service. I thought that that is probably the reason why agents have got a bad name,
yeah,
because the majority of people you touch when selling that house, yes, you've got one happy client who sold the house and got a good price,
yeah,
but if you're pissed off
yeah, yeah, yeah.
people in the process,
And
you're not going forward, are you?
and without stereotyping too much, usually the type of person that does do the viewing, like, as you've said, like, doesn't know the house, they don't know how to show them around. They'll ask 2 or 3 questions about the area, or how old's the boiler, or how's the house, or what work's been done. And it's like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. So then they switch off. So you've not earned the right for them to answer that call when you call them back, because they're just going to go, got no time for
they're
it.
going to say, "Oh, you're going to put an offering." That's
Yeah,
it. They're not.
yeah, yeah,
That is probably a valid point there, and I think if you get that mindset of that opportunity, if I win them over, and they refer me to 5 clients a year for
yeah,
the next 20 years of my life,
yeah.
this 1 million's worth is hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
And
you've got to think like that, haven't you?
definitely, and coming back to, I suppose, what we said earlier, is having that plan as well, not
Yeah.
just going, right, I'm going to go in, I'm going to meet them, I'm running 2 minutes late, open the door, let them in. It's no, be there early, have it prepped. If we're coming into the winter, have some of the lights on, doors open, fresh, yes.
Yeah.
All of those parts. Give yourself the best opportunity to sell your clients home.
Yeah.
Don't just leave it to chance and open the door and let somebody walk around. And all of those parts, if you plan everything, it makes it a lot easier.
Looking after buyers is one of your key strategies. What other things have you got success from in your early stages, and anything you're looking to do in the near future?
Yeah, so I've got into, I suppose, an area that I haven't. So I started in Horsham Centre, 12 or so years ago, and then I've kind of learnt different areas around that in between. Whereas now I've launched as the district, I haven't necessarily had that client base to lean on straight away. So I've had to go out and ask for recommendations, ask for referrals, lean on friends, lean on family, lean on previous clients that I've dealt with to be able to give me an opportunity to get out there. And then I've looked at prospecting on the market houses with a mixture of leaflet campaigns and door knocking, just getting myself out there. Social media is a big thing for me with video marketing, trying to provide value to the community around me.
Cool.
Where we built the last business, that was built a lot on working in the community in terms of sponsorship of local football clubs, business chambers, being a true part of the community. And that's a massive thing that I believe in. Where I can give back, I will do as much as I can, because you are, you're talking about the area, you've got so much insight that you can give to people. You don't just want to show somebody around and go, okay, great. You want to be able to talk about, or run clubs on a Tuesday. The football club's got from under sixes all the way through to seniors, but there's a girls team. So it's trying to just give a bit of value and helping people.
So and you see a lot on LinkedIn and social media about self-employed agents and anything like that. Some people talk about work-life balance and anything like that. You're obviously in your early months, and you've got a young family. Was that part of the reason to of you going self-employed? Did that factor at all? Because I think that gets talked about probably a little bit too much. It's hard work. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard work. Yeah, so I would say at the moment, in the nicest way, there isn't a work-life balance. But I've got a really supportive wife that will make my work part of her lifestyle as well. So at the weekend, she was out helping me do my letter drop. So we took my little boy out, we made a thing of it, rather than
You disappear.
yeah. We like, Bo's free, he's walking, he's engaging. Like, he's like, I'm delivering daddy's letters. And people that are walking, that are out cleaning their cars, they have a conversation because it's something a little bit different. So we're trying to make work and life blend, but work is intense at the minute. But hopefully over time it becomes easier. But that's not with a view of putting your foot off the gas.
No, exactly.
But your challenges change. Correct. Yeah.
When, you got parents even sports day.
Yeah.
I think that's what I've loved about being my own boss. That I can make sure I'm there at special occasions. There's not many things I've missed over the years. Due to work. Albeit my wife was here, and I have got a very supportive wife. She's been fantastic. My kids are supportive now. Now they're old enough to put up with me and to work all the time. And when my business was in its early stages, I had work affects when the babies were born, when our kids were born. So there's being self-employed is not all roses. See some people that are like, I've gone self-employed, so I'm going to be able to be working part-time basically and still earning loads of money. It's not like that.
I was going to say I'm doing it very wrong if that's what it is,
Yeah.
because it doesn't feel like it.
I'm 15 years in, but I do remember having to drive back from the hospital to get back to back there. I didn't have a laptop. To come back to Silverware from Cambridge to do some emails. Cause I was worried about work and like what's going on. And
I think
Yeah,
the best way that I can explain it, and it strikes me as like the type of people that go far with this cared about other people's businesses, and you put that effort in for somebody else's business.
yeah,
So for me, over the last Bo's term 3, so over the last 3 years, I would have sacrificed a period of time of Bo growing up for somebody else's business. Now I'm sacrificing time, but it's for my own business, which will in time help my little boy.
yeah,
And I think if you look at it that way, the investment of time that you're giving in is fully worthwhile. And that's my biggest attraction is I'm doing it for myself now.
yeah,
And I think that just gives you an even bigger push. Like, again, maybe wrongly or rightly, like I'm all in when I'm doing something.
yeah.
So regardless if it was me or somebody else, I was always trying my
I was like
hardest.
that, and I think you are. There's a theme across people. Like
Yeah.
Alex was like that, and I'm sure Ben. Yeah, but it was Alex's bunch
Yeah.
was exactly
Yeah.
exactly the same. Yeah, like no matter what job you do it
Yeah.
100%. Give it you all because you care about the customer and you want to do a good job as an
Yeah.
employee. But I look back and you mentioned your son, and I remember going to a house. I showed a young couple around the house on a Friday night, and they were just going on a honeymoon, and I could tell the house wasn't right. But I said in a couple of weeks' time, I should be listing one 1930s outside of town. They'd never been to that road. Well, I lived around the corner, so I said, "Well, I'm going home now.
Yeah.
So why don't you follow me and drive down the road, see if you like it?" We phoned me straight away.
We want it.
We'd want to live down that road. That was a lovely road. Like, I was like, okay, that's fine. Well, yeah, they bought the house the day they did the viewing. Um, there was a viewing day. Yeah, going back. I think it's 2014 when the market was going
Yeah.
crazy, and there's back-to-back viewings. So we came back for a second viewing on Sunday, and I was at home around the corner, and I took my daughter, and she's like 3 or something. Yeah, two. She would
Yeah.
be nearly 3. So she's tiny, and they remember that, and they've seen her leave school, end up kids going to the same school. I've now sold that house back. They developed it and did
Yeah.
extension, but they remembered that when they sold it. Do you remember when Bella?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, so the clients will remember those little moments. And I remember doing key completion handovers with my son.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's running down the drive and handing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It makes it
yeah,
real, doesn't it?
yeah, because it's daddy's company. Like you remember that
Yeah.
day, like growing up and you're giving creating memories of the family.
Yeah.
Would it be the same if it wasn't yours? It probably wouldn't be exactly 100%. It'll mean more to him and mean more
Yeah.
to you, I think.
Yeah. And we're making a thing of it at the moment that, so the boards, I put my face on the board and it's making a thing of him to see if he can spot Daddy's
Yeah,
board as
yeah,
we drive around, and you'll see him go, and it's good.
yeah. Wait till his friends draw.
Yeah, right.
Laugh.
That's the worry. No, don't look at that one. Or even worse, when he starts drawing.
Yeah, I'm sure that way. But yeah, so you're all in, and and you're going for this, and you can see, obviously you're part of EXP. You can see, the growth of EXP and
Yeah.
partner agents, self-employed agents. Where do you see like the industry in 5 years' time? Obviously, it's 2025. In 5 years' time, 2030.
Yeah.
Firstly, where would you like to see your career and where it's gone? And where do you see, the balance of traditional agency and
Yeah.
self-employed?
So, I suppose firstly, from a personal point of view, I'd like to feel that within the area that I live and the surrounding areas that I work in, I have a reputation of the go-to agent, that somebody that cares,
Yeah,
and that I have a strong reputation in the area to help people. That's the first of all. That's the first thing. I think in terms of agency and how that's evolving, I see it as a lot more personable brand. So whether that be a self-employed agent or the high street agents with more people at the front of it,
yeah,
I think that's where it will go. So I know we look at the Australia models, the American models. I think we're light years away from where they are, but I see us moving more in that direction. And I think that in this short period of time, we've already seen the rapid growth of the brokerage models. I think that will only further enhance over these next few years. But I think that some of the high street offices will adapt. So I think
yeah,
the good ones will get better alongside the right platform with that.
yeah,
And I think that some of the others may drop off, and then there'll be a really good blend of good agents, essentially, whether you're self-employed, employed, or whatever it might be.
yeah.
It will come down to the right people.
It should raise the bar.
Yeah.
We're still in the early stages of change, aren't we? Really, but what I love about it, I think, is guaranteed to raise the bar in agency,
Yeah.
and it's going to help the end consumer, and it should raise the opinion of agents
I
long
was
term.
just about to say, I'd like to see the reputation increase massively, people's perspective of agents go rather than, I don't know, it sounds silly, but sometimes people ask you what your job is and you almost kind of say, you're waiting for their reaction. Like, we have a really stressful job and we help people and we deal with all kinds of emotions. Like, and the right agents do it really well. I think we should be respected. I'm also really excited to see how the marketing will change over these next few years. So there's a lot more video marketing coming into it. I'd love to see how that looks as technology increases, as more and more people invest in it. I'd love to see how that would be in the next few years as
Well,
well.
I think none of us can see how much AI is going to
Yeah.
change everyone's job.
Yeah,
But yeah, the rapid growth of AI, 5 years is a long time.
it's a long
But
time.
like, if we're going at this speed, who
Yeah,
knows? Like,
yeah.
it will be helping
Almost
us, and
12 months ago, I don't think many people kind of knew of Chat GPT, and
now,
now everybody talks about it or a version of it. And in 4 or 5 years' time, it's scary to think of what else might be out there.
it's only a couple of years ago we were marketing new homes developments and using you know companies to do CGI and
Yeah,
stuff, and now you could just
yeah,
put the plans in
yeah,
and say put it in CGI.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Within seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
So, well, one thing I picked up on what you said there was, your personal goals. It wasn't about selling the most houses,
no,
and and I think there's a common theme for people we speak to on our podcast and these videos that they're just trying to do a good job for people
yeah,
and become the go-to. And you
yeah,
mentioned
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and I think that's the perfect goal. I think when the old traditional way of KPIs on the most listings, the most under offer.
yeah,
I think as we know, Chris Watkin hates a chart, doesn't he? But I think that what he's saying there is like focus on giving value as becoming people wanted to come to you and
yeah,
pick out the phones of Ross because he seems knowledgeable. He's selling the nicest homes or in the nicest
yeah.
way and help my friend down the road. That sort of
Reputation's everything,
yeah,
and also as well, like Bo's going to be going to school in the next couple of years. Like, you don't want to be cringing at the school gates with people thinking, I can't stand that guy, or can't help. Whereas you want people to be able to go, actually go and ask him a question that I'm having a problem that my house has fallen through. What do I do? Or this bad survey's come back. Can I have some advice from you? Like, you want to be able to be respected by the people that are around you. I think actually is
I think
really trying to help.
I think this model like enables you, you're in the part of the world where fees are, the average house price is higher than
Yeah,
most in the UK.
yeah,
So that, you haven't got to sell hundreds a year
no,
to have a good living, and so you should be able to sell less than you thought you would have done previous roles, right?
yeah,
Because of it, so you could give a better service
correct.
and still earn the same.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah, yeah.
same.
So it's quite exciting.
Well, it is exciting. So, personally, I'm really proud to be connected to you and love that you're doing, and look forward to seeing your journey continue.
It's good.
So, well done. Off.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, thanks for going on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers.